Hello, second grade friends. Today we're going to do our unit lesson 9.5. So we're creating fourths today. There's a couple fancy words you need to know about fourths. You need to know fourths is cutting a shape into 4 equal parts. And you also need to be able to say a fourth of, 2/4 of, 3/4, 4/4. Okay, and so we'll talk about this sheet that's up here on the screen right now. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So your I can statement for today is I can split an image into quarters, making sure that each part is equal. So we're going to watch this short little video over quarters. I fast forwarded through the halves because we already learned about halves. Remember, halves are 2 equal parts.
What is a quarter? A quarter is when a shape or a set is divided into 4 equal parts.
4.
You might see a quarter written like this.
That's how we write 1/4 or 1/4. Remember, the bottom is the denominator. Same size. Remember, halves are 2. So that video talked about halves and quarters. They said quarters a lot. We can say quarters or we can say fourths. So if you look at this sheet, this is going to be on your Schoology page to help you out. It kind of keeps going. It started with just one whole and then it added halves and then it added thirds. Now we've got fourths at the bottom. Okay, so today we're going to talk about fourths. So if you look at our circle, it's cut into 4 parts. Fourths is 4 parts. Okay, if you look at this rectangle, it's also cut into 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 equal parts. So we would say if there was just 1/4, we would say 1/4 of the pie is Susie's. 2/4 of the pie is mine. 3/4 of the pie is Sophia's. And 4/4 of the pie is Daddy's. Okay, so there's just a bunch of different ways that we could say that. It just depends if we're gonna what we're talking about. Okay, so we are gonna go over here to Seesaw, and we are gonna talk about splitting shapes into fourths. There's a couple different ways you can do this, okay? Rectangles are the easiest to cut up a bunch of different ways. We can go down the middle, and we can go right across. And there's 4. That was pretty easy. We could also go diagonal. And then we're going to go diagonal again. We could do it that way. Or we could go horizontally. This one's much harder for me to do with my mouse. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or there's one more way that I want to do it. We could also do it vertically, up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? You can do the exact same thing with the rectangle. I can go diagonal into fourths. I can go a vertical and a horizontal. That was not a good one. Those are not equal, are they? Or I can go just vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could go horizontally. Now, the circle, the easiest way to do that is to just go 1 vertical and 1 horizontal. Okay, that's how we do a circle. So we talked today about dividing shapes into fourths. This would be 1/4. Okay. So on your worksheet today, you are going to, we have some fraction cards that I'm not sure that they got sent home. So basically these fraction cards are just looking at them and deciding if they're in equal fourths or if they're unequal fourths. Okay, so you have to decide if they're equal parts or unequal parts with fourths. Well, look at this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are those equal parts? Nope. Look at this one. Look at these tiny little baby pieces. Are those equal parts? Nope. Look up here. This is the way I just showed you how to cut that. Are those equal parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. This one just kind of turned it sideways a little bit. But it's easier if you just do it the normal way from the top to the bottom and the side to side. It's the same with these for the rectangles and for the squares. Deciding if they're equal parts. Sorry, I'm scrolling through here to get to your worksheet. So here's your worksheet page, your practice page that you will do. You're going to partition. Remember, we're cutting images. We're splitting them into fourths. So first thing, cut all these into 4 equal parts. Then you're going to use this fraction down here to shade in the correct number of fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And then we're going to do this part down here where we're going to cut out each shape along the bottom. And then we're going to put it where it goes, into halves, thirds, or fourths. Put it where it belongs. So here's all those shapes. You're going to cut them out, glue them on where they belong. These would be halves. These are going to be thirds. These are going to be fourths.